day to get it in, the next day it goes to this, and the next grade is not. It's I don't really care how long it takes you to do it, as long as you understand what you're doing and you're doing it, you know, and you're getting through it. So, you know, I've appreciated that because, you know, we were on the opposite end. It was 5 hours a night of homework, and now it's like an hour.
But I feel that's the differentiation in it. As a teacher, if I have a student that has difficulty doing homework, I will make exceptions, and maybe it's wrong to do that. I don't know. But if I know that a student can handle a certain amount of homework a night, and I give it to all the kids, but then I have another kid that I just couldn't get it done. It just was too hard last night. There were a lot of things going on. I had this happening. I didn't understand it. Whatever. Okay, you know what? Meet with me after school, and let's go over it.
Right.
And I'm okay with that.
Not now,
Yeah.
but that's happening.
But I feel that's when I say differentiation. I feel like I trust that the teachers are willing to do something like that. And I want to give my kids the opportunity. If you don't understand something, or if you need a little bit more, can you go to your teacher and say, listen, this is too easy for me, or this is too hard for me. Can I have something else to supplement? And, you know, I feel like that would be something useful.
Well, and I think too, that goes back to, so in the middle school, they said, let's come up with a policy, and the only two parameters they could come up with were these two, where in the high school, they don't have that policy. So teachers determine on their own what they're going to do, and the difference you're seeing in the availability of help is the scheduling. The middle school has a 7-hour day, we all do. The middle school has so much that it has to pack in because New York State says they have to take from A to Z from, you know, 6th to 8th grade, where in the high school, they have a 7-hour day, but they've always had a 25-minute post-session built in. So that just that extra 25 minutes makes a difference because teachers have to be there every day. It's part of their working day, so kids can stay there. Where the middle school post-session is basically, it's not part of your working day. You don't have to stay that post-session. We do have the half hour before, half hour after collegial hours, twice a week.
I do see at the middle school when I'm over there that there's a number of children that are taking advantage of that.
Yeah, kids come in pre-session, they come in the high school.
And I know my daughter, as well as many other students, you know, she stays after every week.
Right, well, do the math, it's 2.5 hours extra that you have that availability. So maybe it is looking at it's a scheduling issue, but you get bound up because you get these mandates out of New York State that says, well, you have to cover A to Z, and you just don't have enough time in your day to get it. So, but there are things. But they do have the study skills period in 6th grade where they're really trying to work on different things where they get to see their teachers and that study, that skills period.
That could be changing to.
I just feel like there's a lot less homework, but it's more meaningful.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the direction we would like to see.
I'm sorry, I came in, I
Oh,
was
that's
just
okay.
seeing if I'm still talking
Yeah.
about homework.
Yeah, we are. So I told you, it's a hot topic. So I think that before we, you know, if the district thinks it's okay, we can put out a thought exchange
You,
soon. with
you
the-
can put it up.
I would then, I can then. I'm
You can
going
put it out to
grab-
whoever you want. Look at that.
So I will put out a thought exchange about homework, and we'll get the results of that before the committee, and we will try to, I mean, I agree with you, that I want kids to love going to school, and, you know, so, and I see it as like something that totally stresses my kid out. I mean, he's an A student, top of the line, you know, can't ask for better with his motivation, but the one thing that he says all the time that he hates is homework and hates school, and school is boring.
I hate homework. I'm a school teacher.
You know, and he says, why do I have to do this? I know how to do this. But I do believe that he needs to learn how to study, because when I went to college, I didn't know how to study because I was just so smart. I just did really well, and I didn't really ever study through high school. I got to college and I went to Rochester Institute of Technology, and woo, I had a wake-up club, and I had to learn how to study. And so now that's the one thing I do strongly believe in, and I teach him. You know, today he texted me, he's like, can you bring home some index cards on your way home? I'm like, I'm not coming home, your father's picking me up. And so he was like, I'm like, really? You went through all that? So I taught him, this is what helped me, I don't know if it'll help you. And I write different things down, I maybe play a matching game for myself. I need to see it, I need to write it. What do you need to do? And so I think those skills are important, and that when they start to have tests, that we need to teach them those skills.
And I know in the high school, the teachers are doing those sessions. Like, I know for my daughter, she has a math quiz every Friday, and every Thursday, post-session, the teacher stays and she does like a jam session with whoever wants to come to go over, you know, she has them do like practice sheets, goes over anything they got wrong, what they want to do, you know, and her math score is jumping through the roof, like, you know, it's these things that other teachers do it as well, like, it's like, okay, well, the night before the quiz, come and we'll go walk, you know, we'll study.
So I think there's a lot of good in the district. I think that the problem is losing a lot of it being distracted, right?
And it is. That's
So
true.
we agree that study skills are one of those things that we definitely, like, I have a very supportive spouse that is really on top of my kids' study skills, but he's showing them how to do that.
Right.
And he always brings it up that they're not learning that.
No, they're not.
So that's something that.
So that could come on the thought exchange, and I would say that if I get permission and you show me how, we could probably get a thought exchange out, you know, within a couple weeks.
I can get you trained
Now,
tomorrow
is it
if you
on
want to
the
do it on your
website?
own.
Is it going to be on the website? I just happened to go on the website and I saw it because otherwise I didn't know.
No, you
if
know
it
what
was
I
on.
think that we could do for thought exchange, but I could be wrong. So you know, when I do that robocall that you got last night, how many of you also got an email from me? Right. So when I do a robocall, I could do a quick one that said, please take the homework survey, and then I put the link for the thing into the email piece of it, and then everyone's gonna get it.
Right.
So we just need, you know, it's our first thought.
We can also put it out on social media and you can pick up the email or the texting link from that.
And that's
It
how
depends on
we did
which
most of it
audience.
this time, but like for some people might not go on social media, but.
I think it's right.
What?
I'm not on.
Me? No, I've done more. I've done them on this one, like a couple.
For one of these meetings?
Nope, I've done a robocall on every one of these meetings. But if you didn't get it, no, that's okay. I don't like robocalls because I get a little report and it tells me how many people hung up on me. It says how many people it went to an answering machine, how many people, you know, actually it says something and then it says disconnected. How many people hung up on me?
I was one of them, I just slid it
Yeah,
right
yeah,
over.
Because it comes 3 times.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The text and then the email.
And I already, once I heard about it, I was like, oh, I know what this is.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's, so
Thank
don't
you
take
for
it
that.
personal because we get it
No,
on
I
our
don't
cell
take it
phones and I'm like,
And that's
okay.
true, because sometimes I'll get the email first, and then I'll get the call like a few minutes
All right,
later.
so if you
how
do
I've
that,
read it.
then
So-
let's get the
Yeah.
thought exchange thing. I'm gonna do it like that.
There you
I
go.
definitely think you'll get a lot of feedback.
All
Because
right.
like I said, I just happened to go on, I said,
I
what's
can't
this
wait.
thought exchange thing? So
All right,
that's
we're
why
gonna do
I'm
it. 2
doing
weeks,
my
you're gonna
actual
show me
process.
how, and
Right.
just do one question, and I think we're gonna have a lot of fun reading numbers.
But I mean, is that worthwhile? Because we didn't just agree that every kid is different
Yeah,
with homework.
But
So
you're,
what is that?
but I think it would be interesting to see if you get a lot of people, you weren't here, I thought, but it's like the thoughts that really are like that most people agree on are gonna rise to the top. So at least
But,
you,
I mean, I'm just looking through here, and there's a lot of them that say one thing, and then another one that has a high, it says exactly the opposite.
but
So
there's
how-
a way that when she does the analysis of it, that it comes up, it's a little complicated.
I mean-
That is just like a snapshot view.
Yeah,
No, that's every
these
thought.
are all the ones that got high rating. I mean,
Right.
So for example, very first one says we need to teach kids about the basics of, checkbook balancing, you know.
Yep.
So how many people, you have to look at how many people said. that
This
they-
is the curriculum and programming
Right.
one, yeah.
It's also very broad. If you're looking at high school, they look
Yeah.
at that, and
Right.
you're looking at, I have a 3rd grader.
Yeah, your question
You
is,
know,
was,
you have 2 totally different
Right.
So
Yes.
maybe in the thought exchange, you could ask people to say what.
you can do that. We did that demographic, you could do it in your demographics. You could also do 3 different homework for high school, middle school,
Sure, absolutely.
and elementary
Yeah, we
students,
could
if you
definitely
wanted
do
to
that.
narrow it down. You just have to think about what you want. But Jane, getting to what you were saying, just go back to, you were saying that there's one here and then there's
Yeah,
opposite.
So, I mean, a lot of these, right, so a lot of these comments contradict each other. So, one person thinks that we need to teach our kids this, whereas apparently we already have a class that does this.
Well, and that's the,
And then I see a lot of these saying, you know, we need to offer more opportunity. Then there's another question
That
that
says
says
that
that
we
we
have
have too
a
many
lot of-
opportunities and not enough
Right.
time in the day to take advantage of them.
Right.
right. And
It depends on your perspective. I think.
Exactly, and in this one, we were doing kind of just a district check-in, like, what are the perceptions? And what Thought Exchange does is it's not a crystal ball. It's not going to give you any answer. What it's going to do, though, is it's going to give you everybody's opinions in the room. So if you think about a meeting, like in a small meeting like this, everybody has the opportunity to talk, but some people will choose not to. But they have thoughts going on, and you might not hear from them. When we used to do the bigger budget advisory committee meetings years ago, what we would find is if you had a large group, maybe 5 to 10 people would speak, and while those 5 to 10 people were speaking, people were talking in the back, and they were about what they were saying, but the administration was only hearing the people at the mic. So what this does is it gives everybody that anonymity to say, well, I agree or I disagree with that. So in that one comment, so this came up high, and yeah, we need to teach kids the basics, taxes, checkbook balancing, and we've talked a lot about this particular thing under curriculum because this is taught in 8th grade in 10 weeks. In the food and consumer science program, the state says they get 30 weeks of that, and they have different modules they can pick, and one of them is a business one, business and career, and she talks about this. Remember back when you were in 8th grade, that 10-week module, do you remember anything from it? Most kids don't. It's the opportunity that we have in the curriculum. Kids have the opportunity in the business department, which our business department is completely overturned in the last 2 years. Everybody that was in is out, and everybody's brand new. And they are taking and doing more courses like this, and they're also offering kids workshops on this. So that comment, now I don't know that it's the business teacher, but my guess is that was the business teacher trying to inform.
But this also is helpful to us
Right.
because perception is important.
Yeah.
So
Right.
when we see these things, and that's why, I don't know if you were here when I was going through, well, you said we need more of this, but this is everything that we have. So the thought exchange is helping us to do that. Okay, maybe this isn't true, but it's the perception. And when it comes down to a budget vote, or it comes down to what people say about your community, it really comes down to what your perception is.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean that that's true. So if we know what the perceptions are, then we can address those perceptions and get the information out to people to say, no, we do have an economics class also that covers some of that, and we do have it in the business field, in the business classes. So I think the thought exchange, just for that reason, is so that we as a community, school community, can get out the information to you to help to kind of put an end to some of those incorrect perceptions.
The thought behind this particular one was to say, well, where are we? We've never had the opportunity to, and we had 420 people participate in this. Not all of, just like if you have a meeting, like I said, not everybody's going to talk. But you could watch. You can watch the whole thing as people are crossing over and looking at different thoughts and figuring them out. And what it does for us is it kind of gives us, this one's a very broad picture of what people's perceptions are. And it kind of steers us into, okay, where are areas that we might need to look at, helping people understand a little bit better, or getting the word out a little bit better, or, and even like with our administrators, when we talk to some of them, they're like, yeah, we do, but people don't know that we have that. And that's the frustration level. And these aren't new things. There was nothing in there that surprised me that I saw, other than now we have it written down and we have other people's thoughts on it. And so when you see conflicting thoughts, what Marianne was talking about is you look at those star bars, and 5 is I agree, 1 is I disagree. When you start looking at that, you also get an idea, even in the lower thought range. Somebody did say, when's the last time a Valley Central kid went to an Ivy League school? Because people have a perception of that. They think, oh, well, it's a cruddy school, it doesn't do anything. And that rated very low because people didn't agree with it. And actually somebody said, well, we have kids that do go to Ivy League schools. We have kids that have gone off into all kinds of paths.
That's what I mean, like you're getting
Right.
two different.
You're getting two different, and what it,
Ends of the spectrum.
right, and what it,
They're both being highly rated because they both show up on here.
right,
But that's
and,
good information to have.
but what,
And we know that that's what we need to address as a community so that people understand what we really do have. This
Right.
isn't really, we didn't say, what do you want to have in the budget, or what do you want us to do in this? We just said, what do you think of us?
right.
It was really
No, it was very broad.
Yeah.
It was, and it was
that's
intentionally
really-
broad.
For the first thought exchange, that is what is recommended.
It's like, if you look at it in a marketing perspective, if you're gonna market something, you're gonna go to that audience, and you're gonna say, well, what do you like and what don't you like? And then you're gonna start to shape from there. And so even though they're contradictory, and again, the one where it said, when's the last time a kid went to an League school, it got a lot of, I don't agree with you. That's where it ended up, and the ones that said, no, kids have gone on, and they have, what it tells us is, are we telling our story? And are we telling enough? And if you do follow the Facebook, you know, Gene Bonfiglio was he's a VC grad, and he's one of the guys that helped to get the Mars Explorer on Mars. How many people would think that? You know, and so it's sometimes surprising. We have, you know, I know one of my friends is a fellow at Lockheed Martin. Who knew? I have another friend that throws satellites into space and sat next to me in English class. You know, but how do we know this? And it's hard to it's not always easy to get that information. Sometimes you just have to throw it out and say, well, who knows who? And,
Well,
you know.
It's also hard because we don't have an alumni association.
Right. And so that's like the next thing. Do we, you know, and we've talked a bit about, could we do that digitally? Do we want to do that digitally? Or do we just want to start an alumni association?
Keep track of what, you know, you only know by hearsay if people report
Exactly.
back.
You're right. And so those kinds of ideas come up, you know, and then it's a matter of, you know, let's make a plan and what's of importance and what are we going to tackle.
I do want to be able to talk to you a little bit about what we are hoping to put in the budget, but there's one more thing that you talked about that's